welcome to SGN, Some Good News, Brady Lane Church Edition. How's everyone doing out there today? It has been a great week so far. It's just a few more days and we will have our second live worship service on YouTube. So check us out this Sunday at 11 a.m. You will find us live right here on our YouTube channel. We want to share some good news with all of you today. Maybe you have caught John Krasinski from The Office, who has been making these great videos that have been viral, sharing some good news out there. And we want to do that with you all tonight. Myself and some of our other staff members are going to share some good news with you as we make our way toward the reopening of Brady Lane Church. But before I get into those items, I want to share a couple of good news items with you that I have seen over this time that we have been apart. One of the good news items that I have seen is our preschool team stepping up and doing some amazing ministry for our preschool families. Right off the bat, early on when we first shut down, Tricia and her team started working out plans to stay connected to our preschool families. One of the things they did was they handed out packets with all this stuff that our families would need to continue to prepare their students for kindergarten at home. All of our lesson materials, our zoophonics stuff, all that stuff went out in a packet, and our families have been able to keep up with their students' studies over this difficult time. Another thing that was a blessing that I have seen continue to operate without missing a beat has been our food pantry. And I want to thank Bob Betty and his team for continuing to do great work at making sure we are taking care of our community, our neighbors here on the south side of Lafayette. We have another food pantry coming up next week, our 8 a.m. to noon food pantry on Tuesday next week. So be praying for our workers. We're continuing to do the drive-through method. We've learned how to do different ways of doing things, and it has been successful. We praise God for that. I also want to celebrate how our life groups have continued to reach out to one another. Our Sunday school leaders, our ministry team leaders have been contacting people on their teams and in their classes and in their groups to make sure everyone is doing okay. Lots of communication has been happening, and I want to thank everyone who has participated in staying connected to one another. At this time, I want to send things to our weather correspondent, Tricia Roller, who will share with you today's weather forecast. Tricia?
It looks pretty good, yeah.
Thank you, Tricia, and welcome back. Now, as I said, we've been seeing all kinds of great things happening out there, and we are thankful and grateful to God that He's continued to inspire people to do good things and to continue to minister to one another. And some other good news items I want to share with you. Things like our Mother's Day packets that were sent out by our children's ministry. Stacey worked very hard putting together these Mother's Day packets to take around and deliver to our different households that have families, and they were able to do Mother's Day projects for their moms with the packets that were sent out, as well as some lesson materials and some other fun things that Stacey sent to them. We had things like donations from our community, just random walk-in, drop-off, mail-in donations from random people from our community to help us with our food pantry. What a great thing that our community has seen us in action and has decided we want to help support that. We want to help make that happen. And so we've received donations of both money and also food from different organizations and folks around Lafayette here. And we want to thank those folks who have done that. We've also noticed, and it's been mentioned before, but we've noticed that our offerings have continued to come in. And we want to thank everyone for their generosity and their continued support of the church. We wondered at first if we would be able to count on any offerings coming in, with everybody staying home and maybe losing jobs and different things happening. But we have noticed that God has blessed you, and you have continued to bless the church. So thank you for helping us continue to be able to pay for missions, to be able to pay for food pantry, to be able to continue to support our staff. We thank you for your continued generosity to God's kingdom, and we want to thank you for that. At this time, we want to start sharing some things with you about the reopening of the church. We've mentioned that on May 31st, 2020, we will have our first on-campus services here at the church. We will have a traditional first service at 8:30, just as we always have, and we will have a contemporary second service at 11 a.m., just as we always have. We will not, however, have Sunday school in between those 2 hours. We will take the Sunday school out for now, indefinitely. We're going to just keep our eyes and ears open to see when that's going to start up again. And we are going to use that space, that time, to get our first service folks out of the building and away from here, and our second service folks into the building safely without crossing paths. Again, we're trying to eliminate the number of opportunities for accidental exposures to take place. Also, we're going to be offering some hand sanitizing stations for your use. There will be 3 of them in the worship area, and there are 3 others in our children's ministry area. There are actual hand sanitizer stations hanging on the wall in 4 different locations. One of those locations is a new one in our sanctuary space, just outside of the restroom doors near the west entrance to the worship space. You will see a sanitizer dispenser hanging on the wall at that location. Also, we will have hand sanitizer pump bottles in 2 locations in the worship center. One will be inside the sanctuary with a pump bottle sitting on the ledge of the sound booth right inside the entrance to the sanctuary. Another location will be inside the main entrance, right across from the coat racks on our first aid station. You will find another pump bottle of hand sanitizer. Also, we'll be doing things a little bit different in children's ministry, and for that, I'm going to send you to our next generation minister, Stacey Smith. Stacey?
Hi guys, this is Stacey. So glad to hear from you guys and see you guys. We want to let you know about what it looks like when we start back to in-person church. It is so exciting to be able to say those words. Now, May 31st and June 7th, those are 2 Sundays that are going to be family worship Sundays. What that means is we will not have any nursery through middle school available for class times during those services. And so we encourage you to bring your family, worship together. We will have a small Devo time with Stacey during the service at 11 o'clock on those 2 Sundays. Then on June 14th, we will be opening up our children's ministry areas and our middle school areas for church. They will only be available during 11 a.m. service time, not during 8:30 and not during 9:45, only 11. And so what that will mean is that when you come in the doors, instead of turning right and going down the hallway through the blue doors, we're going to ask you to keep going straight, come all the way down and turn the corner and keep going until you get to the back of the fellowship hall. There will be a table set up and we will have volunteers there to help check you in. We will be checking the temperature of the kids. We will be asking if they've been sick in the last 24 hours, and we will be checking them in and getting their name tags. They will get all that taken care of, and then we will have runners who will take them back to their classrooms. So we will not have any adults other than our team members who are in the children's area to take them back to class. If you have any questions about that, you can catch me or one of our other team leaders during that time, and we'll be glad to help you out with that. When you're ready to pick them up, you just come back to the table and let us know. We will go get them, bring them back to you, and then that will be the end for our process. Now, this is totally new, and we realize this is different, and we just ask for you to be patient with us as we try to make sure we provide safety and care to your kids while we are spiritually teaching them at the same time. We are so excited about all these opportunities, and if you have any questions, please look us up. We'll see you Sunday. Have a great week.
Thank you, Stacey, for that update, and we appreciate what our next generation team is doing to make things safer for all of you and your children to come back. Now, another thing we're going to do a little differently when we return is our communion and offering. There will be communion stations set up around the sanctuary, one in each corner of the room. There'll be 2 up near the stage on the walls, on the side, on the floor, and there'll be 2 other stations near the back, one by the sound booth and one by the west side of the sanctuary. On those stations will be a communion tray with communion in double cups, one cup on the bottom with our wafer of bread, and the second cup sitting on top with our juice. We will be moving to those stations at a directed time in the service, and you will partake of communion at the station and dispose of the cups in a recycling bin that will be sitting nearby. When you are finished with communion, you may also place your offering in baskets or some receptacles that will be on those communion stations as well. Another thing that we're going to do to help cut down on contaminating one another is we are going to eliminate our guest welcome time during our services. We're not going to any longer do our greeting time where we stop in the middle of the service and we move all around the sanctuary and shake hands and hug and all that kind of stuff. I know that is something that has been a tradition here, and it's one that I've enjoyed because it gives me an opportunity to meet new people. But for now, we're going to probably stay away from those kinds of things, and we're going to eliminate that time from our service. We encourage you to continue to make connections with people and to talk to people, but we're going to ask everyone to not shake hands or hug in this time until further notice, because we want to avoid passing along anything that could harm someone. Before I sign off, I want to share with you that we are going to start a new sermon series beginning May 31st, and I'm excited about that. And there'll be more information coming out soon, but we are going to do a summer-long theme called Reality, and we're going to be using some reality TV show titles to kind of kick off each week's sermon. Each sermon is going to be a standalone message, so if you're in and out or you can't make it, you're not going to miss anything, but you can always catch up and watch it live later. But we're going to really dive into some Bible characters and some topics over the summer and talk about the reality of God's Word and how much it is relevant for us today. I'm excited about that too. We are excited about coming back, but we know that there will be some of you that aren't going to be ready to do that. We want you to know that that is okay. And if you need to take some more time before you are comfortable coming back, we want to encourage you to stay home. Anyone who is preparing for or coming out of a surgery, we want you to stay home. Anyone who has an immune deficiency disorder or some type of situation where they have not been doing well staying healthy, we want you to stay home. Anyone who is feeling ill or any symptoms of any kind of illness, please stay home. We want to try to keep our space as safe as possible during these first few weeks coming back. So please take your time. If you're not comfortable yet, if you're not feeling it yet, you will still be able to watch our online live service at 11 a.m. because we are going to continue that service until Jesus comes back. We're going to have a live online presence. And if you miss it, if you're not able to join us at 11 a.m., from the time the service is over until Jesus comes back, those services will be online on our YouTube channel where you can view them anytime. So we will still be able to count you as present if we see that someone has clicked online and watched us online. So you can still participate with us even if you can't be here with us. At this time, I'm going to sign off. I just want to say that we love you. We've been praying for you. Hopefully this has been some good news for you tonight. And we want to say that you are on our hearts and on our minds, and we can't wait for us all to be back together. We'll share some more news about some celebratory things that we're going to do later this summer on another video, but I want to share with you that we want you to know that we are with you today. May God bless you and keep you. May He cause His light to shine upon you, and may He grant you peace. We'll talk to you soon. This is Jeff Keller, Senior Minister of Brady Lane Church, signing off. May God be with you, and good night.